Hello everyone, my name is Rajni Jha. Welcome to PIB Weekly Analysis at Drishti IAS. In today's session, we are going to discuss some of the most important pieces of news from PIB from 27th July to 2nd of August. Let's get started. The first piece of news that we have is Market Distortions Performance Index. The first question that you should ask is, what exactly are market distortions? Market distortions are anything that prevent the market from working freely and efficiently. Now, that could be excessive government regulations, that could be monopolies, that could be high trade barriers such as tariffs or quotas, that could be weak property rights, anything that prevents market from working efficiently will be called market distortion. Now, if we talk about India, India has improved from 82nd position in 2010 to 57th position in 2023 in the Market Distortions Performance Index. As I told you, this index measures how effective and how effectively countries reduce market distortions. It is mainly based on three pillars. First is property rights, second, domestic competition, and third, international competition. What does that mean? Property rights mean, is your property and business safe? Is your property and business safe? If you, let's say, you start a business, if you buy a land or start a factory, the law should protect your ownership of that land or factory. Second is domestic competition. What does that mean? Can businesses compete fairly within the country? Let's say if only one company is allowed to sell a product, then the prices of that product will definitely increase because there is not enough competition. This is called domestic competition. So it means, do customers genuinely have choices? If they have fewer choices, the prices may rise, and the fair competition will prevent this. Third is international competition. What does that mean? That means, is the country open to global trade and investment? Let's say India makes it easier for foreign companies to invest and it reduces unnecessary tariffs or trade barriers. In such cases, it will increase the competition and especially international competition, and the customers will get more choices. That is international competition. So India's improvement has been especially attributed to reforms like GST, IBC, regulatory reforms, and trade facilitation. Now, I'm sure you know about all of these, except what is IBC? IBC is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. What does that mean? It simply means that it is a law that provides a time-bound process to deal with companies or individuals who could not pay their loans or debts on time. So it provides a simple mechanism for them to pay their loans or debts instead of these cases being dragged on for years. It provides a simple solution, an easy solution, time-bound solution. Next is Nasha, Mukt, Yuva for Viksit, Bharat, Sankalp, Abhiyan. As the name suggests, Nasha, Mukt is against usage of drug, against usage of intoxication. So this is specially anti-drug campaign. So Prime Minister has launched a 100-week nationwide anti-drug campaign. It will cover over 1 crore youth. They participated through 28,000 plus locations. It will be implemented. It was implemented through MY Bharat. What is MY Bharat? MY Bharat is Mera Yuva Bharat. M is Mera, Y is Yuva. Mera Yuva Bharat. It is based on Kashi Declaration developed with 125 plus spiritual organizations and NGOs. What is Kashi Declaration? It is a nationwide pledge and action framework against drug usage. And it was developed with 125 plus spiritual organizations, NGOs, youth groups in Varanasi, Kashi. Every Sunday will feature activists promoting drug-free lifestyle. So this is about anti-drug campaign. Next is Daanveer initiative. Now, Daan is donation or charity. Veer is a noble person who does that. So this initiative especially talks about some sort of donation, some sort of charity. What charity or donation is it talking about? It's talking about the citizen participating in donating digital infrastructure such as computers to gram panchayats, right? So this Daanveer initiative especially talks about, it is a government initiative that allows citizens and organizations to donate computers to gram panchayats, that is village local government, to village local government, so that their digital infrastructure can be strengthened or improved. It is developed by Ministry of Panchayati Raj with NIC and DigiHeart. What is NIC? Now NIC is National Informatics Center and DigiHeart. DigiHeart is government supported online marketplace. This is a government supported online marketplace that connects buyers with sellers, especially weavers, self-help groups, rural entrepreneurs, and artisans. It enables citizens and organizations to donate computers to eligible gram panchayats through Meri Panchayat app, and as I told you, DigiHeart. It provides a standardized, quality, verified computer bundles to gram panchayats. Next, it allows donors to track delivery and installation and receive digital certificate of appreciation. So donors will also get digital certification of appreciation. At the same time, they can also track the delivery and installation of the computers that they donated, so that they know that whatever cause they are giving it for, it is actually beneficial to the people that it is used for, right? It is actually being used to give to people that it was intended for. It is not misused or sent somewhere else. So they will be able to track and install the computers that they donated. It operates under tagline "Give back to your village" to bridge digital infrastructure gaps. Of course, we know that there is digital infrastructure gaps. To bridge these gaps, this is operated under the tagline "Give back to your village," and it is given across 2.5 lakh gram panchayats, and it strengthens, as I told you, digital governance, service deliveries, and digital infrastructure. Next is Samudra Manthan. It is National Offshore Exploration Scheme. Offshore is towards the sea, towards the seabed, into the sea, in the water body, right? Onshore is towards land. So this talks about exploring something, especially this talks about oil and natural gases, exploring oil and natural gases in the sea, that is towards the seabed. So this is Samudra Manthan. I have made a detailed video on this. You can go ahead and watch this on our channel itself. So it is a central sector scheme. As I've told you several times, central sector scheme are the schemes where government funds 100%. Central government funds 100%, and central government itself is responsible for the implementation of the scheme as well. So there are two kinds of schemes: central sector scheme and centrally sponsored scheme. In centrally sponsored scheme, both central government and state government, they fund together. All right, so this is a central sector scheme of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. The outlay is of 84,084 crore, and it is to be done up to financial year 2030 and 31. This is India's largest offshore hydrocarbon exploration mission. As I told you, this is about exploring oils and natural gases, hydrocarbon in the seabed. First, and then it includes first offshore seismic surveys. What does that mean? That means using sound waves to locate oil and gas deposits under the seabed. Second, 60 deep water exploration wells. What does that mean? Drilling. It means drilling 60 wells in deep sea areas to search for oil and natural gas. Third, offshore infrastructure hubs. So it will also facilitate the formation of or building of common offshore facilities to extract, process, and transport the oils and gases that have been explored earlier through drilling. Oil and gas manufacturing and service zone. Now, of course, the oils and gas that have been extracted and processed, there should be industrial zones to manufacture equipment and provide services that are required for these oil and natural gas service. And finally, the government support of up to 50% of drilling cost. So government will also help in drilling cost. Maximum spending will be rupees 675 crore per well. Next is National Handloom Day 2026. So 12th National Handloom Day will be celebrated on 7th of August 2026. It commemorates Swadeshi movement, which happened on 7th August 1905. Now, I'm sure you know about Swadeshi movement. It was a national movement launched after as a response to partition of Bengal in 1905, right? So, in Swadeshi movement, there was boycott of foreign, especially British goods. There was use and promote of Indian-made, or Indian-made products are also called Swadeshi products. So, there was use and promotion of Indian-made or Swadeshi products. Then it also supported Indian industries, artisans, handlooms, weavers. So this is done to commemorate, this is going to be done to commemorate Swadeshi movement. Now 22 awards will be presented: 3 Sant Kabir Handloom Awards, 19 National Handloom Awards, and 4 commemorative postage stamp will be also presented, and 2 publications will be released. Next, Pradhan Mantri Surya Sarovar Yojana. As the name suggests, Surya is solar or related to sun. So here we will be talking about solar power generation. In Pradhan Mantri Surya Sarovar Yojana, it is about solar power by generating solar power by installing floating floating solar panels on lakes, reservoirs, etc., water bodies. So the cabinet approved Pradhan Mantri Surya Sarovar Yojana with an outlay of 5,070 crore, right? And in this project, first of all, this is a central government scheme, especially central sector scheme. We have already talked about what central sector schemes are. So this is a central sector scheme, and in this 5,000 megawatt floating solar projects will be developed. There will be minimum 10,000 megawatt hour or 2 hour of energy storage. What does this line mean? So we have seen that they will develop at least 5,000 megawatt floating solar projects, right? Now solar power is produced only when the sun shines, because it is solar power, you require sun for this. So it is produced only when the sun shines. Therefore, every project must have batteries to store electricity when there is no sunlight, right? And for that, they have said that there will be at least 10,000 megawatt hour, that is 2 hour of energy storage. So this full capacity is of 5,000 megawatt and it is 10,000 megawatt hour. That means it will be provided for at least 2 hours. So there will be storage capacity of 2 hour of electricity. And so every project must have batteries to store electricity, and the storage capacity will be 10,000 megawatt hour. That means it can supply full 5,000 megawatt of electricity for about 2 hours, even on sunsets and cloudy weather. Now, central financial assistance will be provided for every megawatt 1 crore and up to 50 lakh of feasibility studies. Based on the estimate, NISE's estimate, there will be 102.18 gigawatt power floating solar potential. Okay, next is Consumer Price Index base year revision. Now, the base year for Consumer Price Index has been revised, but the question is, what is Consumer Price Index? See, Consumer Price Index measures inflation. It measures inflation. That is how the goods and services that you and I, the ordinary people, they use, that change over time. That is inflation. So Consumer Price Index measures inflation. For example, of the ordinary goods such as food, clothing, rent, education, transport, and healthcare. So RBI uses CPI inflation to make monetary policy decisions. And right now, the base year of CPI has been revised from earlier it was 2012. Now it is 2024. What does that mean? See, base year measures what kind of inflation has happened. So if I say that the prices of certain products have increased, I'll have to measure it from some base year. That in, let's say in 2012, the price of 1 kg sugar was 30 rupees. Now it is 50 rupees. So I can see there has been an increase in price. So there has to be a base year or reference year, right? That is why base year is used. It is used as a reference year. Similarly, here, what they have done is they have changed the base year from 2012 to 2024. The new CPI uses latest survey showing that Indian households actually spend how much money they spend today. So it uses household consumption expenditure survey based on household consumption expenditure survey of 2023-24. They have revised it. Then the basket expanded from 299 to 358 items. What does that mean? See, now even more goods and services have been added so that CPI better reflects current consumer spending. Because if you really think about it, of course, earlier in 2012, maybe people were spending on different things and less things. Now they're spending on some more things and different things. So this basket on which inflation is measured, basket of goods, it has been expanded from 299 to 358 items. Similarly, price collection expanded. So price are now collected from more rural and urban markets, and along with online markets as well, because we know now there is a lot of online spending. Even you and I, we spend so much online. We use Zepto, we use different shopping websites. So there is online spending also. So they have included all those things. And the new CPI series will be available from January 2026. So inflation from January 2026 onwards will be calculated using this updated CPI of 2024 as the base year. Now, I asked you, why was the base year changed? Because you think about it, people in 2012 were using different products in different ways. In in today's era, in 2026, there is more online shopping, more spending on mobile phones, internet. Food habits have changed. There is greater spending in the healthcare sector and other sectors. So we have to include all those things as well, which is why they have changed the base year. Okay, next is commercial coal mining. What does that mean? It means private companies can mine coal. Commercial, so private companies can mine coal, that is commercial coal mining, and sell it to any buyer at market prices. So instead of mining only for their own usage, they can sell it to anyone at the market price, any buyer at market price. Earlier, it was only used for their own use, which is called captive mining. But now they can sell it to any private player in the market itself. Okay, so commercial coal mining was launched in June 2020. 141 commercial coal mines have been auctioned since June 2020. So of course, these mines will be auctioned, then only the private players will mine it and sell it in the market. 100% FDI is permitted under automatic route, and revenue sharing model replaced the earlier fixed charge system. What does that mean? Now revenue sharing model is used. So instead of paying a fixed fee, mining companies now pay the government a percentage of revenue that they earn from selling the coal. That is revenue sharing model. Selling the coal. So government's earning will also increase as the coal prices and sales increase. Coal production has crossed 1 billion tons for 2 consecutive years. Now it has crossed 1 billion tons for 2 consecutive years. Okay. And this reflects record high domestic coal production. Next is Samudra Pradakshina, all women try service circumnavigation expedition. What is Pradakshina? Pradakshina literally means to go around something clockwise. To go around something clockwise as a mark of respect. That is Pradakshina. So here also there is Pradakshina, there is circumnavigation expedition. So Raksha Mantri, which is Defense Minister, Rajnath Singh, he facilitated a crew of Samudra Pradakshina. It is India's first all-women tri-service circumnavigation sailing expedition. So this is India's first all-women sailing expedition around the world involving tri-service. That means all three services. Tri-services, all three services. So it was conducted on board IASV Triveni. What is IASV Triveni? It is the expedition. It means that the expedition was carried out using Indian Army sailing vessel IASV Triveni, and 9 women officers sailed around the world on a ship named IASV Triveni. So it included officers from all the three services, tri-service, that is Army, Navy and Air Force. The voyage lasted 314 days, covering 25,500 nautical miles and crossed 4 oceans. See, for the voyage to fulfilled all the international circumnavigation criteria. So there is a criteria that it has to fulfill. After that only it can be said that it has the circumnavigation expedition is complete. So what are those 4 international circumnavigation criteria? For internationally accepted conditions are, first, if you say that somebody has sailed around the world, there is internationally accepted conditions, and there are 4 conditions. First, they must have crossed the equator twice. So from one hemisphere to the second hemisphere, once the equator is covered, then again to the first hemisphere, equator is covered. So two times the equator should be covered. Second, cross international date line. Now I'm sure you must have read about longitude and latitude. This is longitude, 0 degree is prime meridian, and 180-degree longitude is international date line. So it must have crossed international date line, right? That is the second condition, which means that it is the line where the date changes. They must have crossed it. Third is rounding the 3 great capes. What are the 3 great capes? First is Cape Lewin. Where is Cape Lewin? In Australia. Cape Lewin in Australia. Second is Cape Horn. Cape Horn is in southern tip of South America. And then Cape of Good Hope. I'm sure you must have read the Cape of Good Hope many times in history as well. This is South Africa, right? So they must have crossed all the 3 great capes, and this is what they have done, which is why it is considered that they have sailed, that they have completed the sailing, right? They have sailed around the world. So they have completed all these conditions criteria, so they have sailed around the world, and now this is considered to be major milestone in a complete global sailing expedition. Next is launch of Machilipatnam Mahi class ASW shallow watercraft. So the Indian Navy launched Machilipatnam BY 529, the seventh of 8 Mahi class anti-submarine warfare shallow watercraft ASW SWC. Let's understand this because there is a lot to unpack here if you really see it. Anti-submarine warfare is which finds and fights submarines, because it is anti-submarine, so it finds and fights submarine. Second is SWC. What is SWC? Shallow watercraft. What does that mean? A small warship which is designed to operate in shallow coastal waters. Then there is another thing given here, BY 529. What is BY 529? It is simply the build number. It is given to ship by a shipyard during construction. It is given during construction. So it is simply the ship number. Okay, so it is a ASW SWC. ASW is anti-submarine warfare, meaning it finds and attacks submarines. Second, SWC, shallow watercraft. So it operates in shallow coastal waters. And the key points here would be, it is built by Cochin Shipyard Limited, named after Machilipatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Over 80% is indigenous content. 80% of this is indigenous content. It is equipped for underwater surveillance, anti-submarine warfare. I've already explained this, right? Low intensity marine operations and mine warfare. It enhances our coastal defense and marine domain awareness, both of them. Now, next is indigenous extreme weather grade diesel. Chief of Army Staff launched indigenously developed extreme weather grade diesel. Now the question arises, what is extreme weather grade diesel? It is a special type of diesel fuel that is developed in India for use in very cold regions. So because the name itself suggests, it is extreme weather. So it is used in extremely cold region, extremely cold weather, especially by Indian Army. See, normally what happens in extremely cold weather, ordinary diesel becomes wax-like. It becomes very thick. It does not work. But this can be easily used in extremely cold weather as well. So let's say if the diesel is extremely thick or becomes wax-like, would it pass easily through pipes? Of course, it would not pass easily through pipes. So it would stop engine from starting, which is why XWG, extreme weather grade diesel, is used. It is designed to keep flowing even in temperature as low as minus 42 degrees Celsius. So it is developed jointly by Indian Army and oil marketing companies, operates at temperature as low as minus 42 degrees Celsius, and it is compatible with existing army vehicles without engine modification. So engine modification is not required. It is compatible with existing army vehicles. It complies with BS6. We have already talked about BS6, Bharat Stage 6. It is environment friendly. It is less polluting as compared to BS4. We have talked about this. And it also follows IS 1460 is to 2025 standards. What is that? It is basically Indian standard, right? It is Bureau of Indian Standards specification for diesel fuel. So it follows both Bureau of Indian Standards and BS6, Bharat Stage 6, both. It complies with both. It has both military and civilian application in high altitude, because in high altitude regions, the temperature is extremely low. Next, India's fight to combat hepatitis. Now, hepatitis, first of all, what exactly is that? It is simply inflammation of liver. Inflammation. Hepatitis is inflammation of liver. So, this news is about India's fight to combat hepatitis. Government highlighted progress under National Viral Hepatitis Control Program, NVHCP, National Viral Hepatitis Control Program. Now, first of all, inflammation of liver or swelling of liver is called hepatitis, as I told you. It can be hepatitis B and hepatitis C. Let's understand a little bit about this first. So, when we talk about hepatitis B and hepatitis C, you need to know the difference. Hepatitis B, for this vaccine is available. For hepatitis C, vaccine is not available. Hepatitis B spreads through body fluid, right? Blood or body fluid. And hepatitis C mainly spreads through infected blood. So C is to blood, B is to blood or body fluid, any of them. right? Then chronic infection in hepatitis B can be managed through medicines. For hepatitis C, as I told you, there is no vaccine, but now it is curable with modern antiviral drugs. Okay, so this talks about National Viral Hepatitis Control Program. It was launched in 2018 and it covers hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E, right? It provides free screening, diagnostics, and treatment for hepatitis B and C both. And it is integrated with other programs as well, such as UIP, NACP, NTEP, and other programs. So let's say, what is UIP? UIP is Universal Immunization Program. It provides hepatitis B vaccination because it talks about immunization, right? So it gives hepatitis B vaccination. It talks about hepatitis B vaccination, especially the birth dose for newborns. So UIP is for vaccination for hepatitis B, especially for the newborn babies. Next is NACP. What is NACP? NACP is National AIDS Control Program. It screens high-risk group, prevents infection through body and blood fluids, through body fluids and blood. NTEP. What is NTEP? NTEP is National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, and RMNCAH plus N. What is that? That is Reproductive, Maternal, Newborn, Child, Adolescent Health and Nutrition Program, and it is specially for pregnant women. This is specially for pregnant women for hepatitis B and to prevent mother-to-child transmission. And finally, blood transfusion services to ensure safe blood transfusion, because as we have seen, this spreads through blood. If the blood transfusion is not safe, then it can easily spread through blood from one person to another. Right? The national goal is to eliminate viral hepatitis as public health threat by 2030. Next is Global Tiger Day. On this also I have made a video in detail. So if you haven't watched that, please go ahead and watch it. We'll cover this in brief here. So Prime Minister reaffirmed India's commitment to tiger conservation on Global Tiger Day, which was 29th of July. Right now, India is home to nearly 70% of world's wild tiger population. And this conservation is especially focused on science-based conservation, community participation, sustainable development. And this is important. Tiger is called an umbrella species because when we try to conserve tiger, we end up conserving its habitat. And its habitat has a lot of different animals and vegetation, right? Different plants. So this is called an umbrella species and it is very important. So go ahead and watch that video. I've covered this news in detail in that video. It reaffirmed commitment to empowering local communities and reducing human-wildlife conflict. Human-wildlife conflict is any interaction which either damages human environment or wildlife habitat or their condition. So it empowers local communities and reduces human-wildlife conflict. Okay. Now, before we move to the last part of this session, this question is for you to solve on your own and write in the comment section below. But what I also want is you only give the answers every time. What we will do differently this time is, right now you have to answer this question and you have to give me one specific fact about each of them. So in the comment section, you will tell me the answer, but at the same time, you'll also tell me one specific fact which is not mentioned here about each of these initiatives. So the question is, which of the following pairs is, very importantly, incorrectly matched? You have to find the incorrectly matched one. First is Daanveer, and the purpose is donation of computers to Gram Panchayats. Second is PMSSY. It talks about floating solar projects with energy storage. Third is Samudra Manthan. It talks about offshore hydrocarbon exploration. And fourth is NVHCP. It talks about, according to this, promotion of commercial coal mining. So you will tell me which of these is incorrectly matched, but you will also tell me what should be the correct answer of it. So for example, you say first is incorrectly matched. So what exactly is this initiative about? That you will tell me. And second, you will tell me one specific fact about each of these initiatives which is not mentioned in the question. Your options are option A only, B only, C only, or D only. So that's it for today's session. I hope you really enjoyed the lecture. Until next time, take care.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.